We're standing by with Coach Jessie McCormick of the men's soccer team. Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Certainly.
All right, let's look back. 2012, you were the kind of given the reins to the program, a program that didn't exist up to that point. So what were some of the challenges as you came in 2012, knowing that not only did you have to put a team on the field, but you were the first one to kind of establish that culture and the traditions that go along with a soccer program?
Yeah, I think how quickly you have to be competitive at the college level and to have such a short amount of time to do that is one of the challenges. And I think also just on a practical note, helping the players really see the mental intensity, the physical intensity, the speed of play, and all that that goes into the college game, and really getting players up to speed on that. I think that's a little bit of a challenge early on that first year.
When you were coming in and kind of setting that philosophy of, your own personal coaching and kind of dictating what you wanted the program to be, what were some of those kind of the pillars of your program of, I want my program to be this, and that?
Like I said, with the challenges, I really think that, like you said, there's a huge opportunity. So coming in with a clean slate in a lot of ways is almost easier than coming into a program that's already been there, because you're not having to work through a past coach or what they've done. So I think some of those pillars for our program, one would be just everything we do to the glory of God. And I think having that pillar, and it's a mindset of how can I as a coach help instill in our program developing godly character that applies not just on the field but off the field as well. And I think that's one of the primary pillars, that godly character that really carries over to every area of life. And I think out of that comes excellence and hard work and discipline and some of those other things.
When you're looking at a student athlete, obviously you probably have talked to hundreds over the last few years. What is the one or two things, obviously on the field you're looking for a certain type of player, but what are one or two of those characteristics that you kind of automatically look for in a student athlete?
I think the longer I coach, the more I realize to some extent there is going to be a mental drive and desire that's God-given to some extent for someone that really wants to play at the college level. And I think too, being here at Bob Jones, it's a fantastic environment, and really looking for those players who are excited about the opportunity to really be pushed and challenged athletically, but also academically and spiritually as well.
When you get that student athlete on campus, you mentioned it a little bit, but not to give away your recruiting pitch, but what are some of the things that you highlight with a student athlete when you get them on campus and have an opportunity to kind of sell the program to them?
I'm really trying to highlight the big picture of things, the quality of the academics, the spiritual environment. And I want to do what I can as a coach, but I think one huge benefit to Bob Jones is the amount of quality Christian players and students we're able to bring into school, and how that iron can sharpen iron, and how there's other students that can impact the student's life, not just a coach, not just a teacher, although certainly that's the case. I feel like we've got a great group of guys on the team, and that's historically been true for us.
A lot of, especially Christian programs, are going to say, we do this, that, and the other thing, but I know you've probably had the experience of a student athlete telling you that sometimes a coach can give a pitch and then it's totally different when they actually get to the school. So how do you, as a coach and as the person that's leading the program, how do you try to ensure that what you're preaching to your team and kind of what you're relaying to your guys gets lived out on the field and in the program?
And some of it's a mindset of recruiting. As far as I'm looking for student athletes, I'll pray that God will bring in those players that are already spiritually mature, that can come in and lead right away, even as freshmen, and be a leader spiritually in the freshman class. But also I try and really communicate clearly with those that are interested in our program, you know what, regardless of some other things, are you excited about the opportunity to be here at Bob Jones? Are you excited about the opportunity to be challenged spiritually and academically and athletically? And is this something you can see yourself really buying into and really wanting to be a part of? So I really just try and lay it on the table and let those recruits that I'm communicating with see how they react, see what their thinking is.
Looking back again, we've had a lot of highlights over the course of the infancy of our program. It really isn't that old. But even in looking back at previous seasons and the success and the highlights that we've had, if you could boil it down to maybe one or two things, what do you think has been key to the success thus far?
I think it's been the mentality of the players themselves and the leaders on the team. I think that's what it boils down to. I think a lot of the success comes from that.
As you go forward into the future now of the soccer program, what are things on the horizon for you guys in terms of those pillars and re-emphasizing again the philosophy that's brought us to this point?
Yeah, I think keeping the mindset of excellence and having that at the forefront, and again, with the underlying truth of developing godly character and doing everything with the right motives and reasons, which is easy to say, and it's practically it's harder to live out. But having that mindset and having that idea of excellence, that's really something to buy in going into the future. And I think also just for incoming players coming in, buying into that idea of we want to be challenged, we want to be pushed, we want to excel academically and athletically, and we want that spiritually as well. And I think that's something that will really set the tone for the future.
Well, it certainly is a bright future for men's soccer. Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Johnny.